So we are aimed at personal changes within ourselves, and we are also aimed at social changes. What else can I tell you? We need to break down the hierarchy of power. We are trying to empower women and have them recognize within themselves some of the things that they might have been seen as weaknesses are actually strengths. So we want to, again, empower them, make them realize that that these are good qualities, that these are beautiful qualities, that these are something that should be highlighted and something that you should be proud of and something that you should use daily in your life rather than probably unconsciously suppress them. We are trying to demystify some of these things and make it okay to be a feminist. It's okay to support these ideas, even if you're a male. I'm going to talk a little bit about what the men need to do. What the men need to do and what the men need to learn is that we need to recognize that there is a patriarchal system. We need to not be in denial of the fact that this was a world built by old white men. And recognize that because of that, it just simply excluded a lot of ideas. Excluded 50% of the ideas on the planet if we're ignoring the women's contribution in those early days. And we really need to realize how that's affected our culture and our society and our laws and everything else. We need to understand as men our male privilege, the fact that I am treated differently because I am a male, that I will have certain benefits come my way, that certain good things will come to me, that I will be given perhaps a little more respect, a little bit more time because I'm a male, and to say, hey, this is really happening, this is true, and kind of validate the concern for that. We need to confront sexism. We see it happen all the time. How often do we turn our back? How often do we shrug it off? Or how often do we even laugh it off and just say, haha, that's the way it is? I mean, it's splattered all over our TV sitcoms all the time. It's splattered all over our music all the time. And yet we've kind of still, to some degree, accepted it. And let me ask you, and I'm sure the same thing can be said for women as well, but if we got a bunch of men together, what are some of the jokes that all the men would be saying within that circle? And how many of those men would stand up and kind of say, hey, you know what, that's sexist, what you said right there. I don't know if enough men do that. That's a whole other debate. And I'm sure the same thing could be said about, on the opposite end, how the females would joke about men in some capacity. But the idea is to recognize sexism when it happens and to confront it. We need to redefine masculinity as men. The crying example, for one, would be a good example. Hey, it takes a real man to cry. It takes a real man to wear pink. I mean, whatever it is, we need to kind of break down those old barriers and redefine what we're doing and how we're presenting ourselves as males. And maybe there's a more modern, egalitarian way of presenting ourselves as males. And also teaching our sons those kind of things as well. And we need to actively support feminism as a male. It's okay to be a feminist as a male. And we might, never fully understand what it's like to be a female. I think that would be naive. But to recognize all of these real concerns that women have and to stand up for them and support feminist movements. That's a huge responsibility for men to do. As abusive men, if you are an abusive man, we need to learn the capacity to be a little bit more intimate. We need to learn to self-disclose more instead of kind of bottling up and stonewalling all the time. We need to balance things of achievement and our relationships. Oftentimes people are all about their work and not enough about relationships. We need to accept our vulnerabilities, things that we're not good at, things that we break down for. And we need to, again, really just appreciate women in what they are and what they offer. That's part of our responsibilities as men. I do kind of want to like twist things up a little bit, and I want to say how things can get a little bit more complicated. Some women don't believe in equality. Some of the laws that are presented in Islam, for example, kind of repress women and have a very definitive role for women. They're not very open to what women can be. And without being judgmental, I want you to kind of think about what it might be to be a woman in that context. Can you be an Islamic feminist? I don't know. I think it's something for you guys to think about. You know, can you wear something that covers your face and at the same time think that you're equal and that you have equal say and that you're treated equally in society? You know, and also what goes on behind some of these households where it's a very top-down, male-dominating patriarchal system. How does feminism fit into these other cultures? And it's not, obviously, it's not just Islam, but you know, all these other different cultures that are also playing an important power role in all of this. And also, when we talk about men and women, and we talk about equality, I think everybody's like, yes, yes, equality, that sounds great, that sounds wonderful, all these women want that, and why wouldn't they? Well, does that mean that you're going to start opening doors for me? Does that mean that, you know, after a couple dates and things are getting serious, that you're going to buy me an engagement ring? I mean, where do things really get equal here? So, you know, some of our cultural things where you kind of benefit the women perhaps in some way. Engagement rings being an example. The idea that it's a little bit more comfortable for women to stay home and take care of the household versus men. Also, the idea that men are always constantly going to the front line for military and serving their country, where sometimes females aren't on the front line. These are all important things to think about when we're thinking about the equality between men and women. So hopefully these are some things for you guys to think about. Again, the idea when thinking about feminism in therapy is to kind of get people to think about how they've been acculturated, how they've been socialized, and what the world has done to kind of make this environment that we live in. And whether or not, A, we're going to let that affect us, and B, if there's anything that we can do to change it so that it is a little bit better for the next generation to come along. I guess it's up to you guys to decide whether or not this can be a therapy in itself, or if these are kind of skills or awareness techniques that you want to bring up. I will leave that up to you as counselors to decide for yourself. Thank you for watching, and stay tuned. I think we have about 2 or 3 more videos to come through this semester. Thank you.